I once had a dream, and in this dream, I was afraid. I was constantly worried about what others might think of me. And in this dream, I lacked the confidence to be able to be myself, to be able to interact with others without worry. And in this dream, because I lacked this self-confidence and I was constantly anxious and afraid, I tried to find ways to cope with these feelings. In trying to find ways to cope with these feelings, I turned to drugs, I turned to alcohol, I turned to promiscuity. I involved myself in all kinds of activities that I thought would help me feel better, and maybe for a moment they did. Perhaps momentarily, I was able to step outside of myself enough to feel okay, to feel unafraid, to feel like I had a place in this life. In this dream, I was constantly living in a state of fear and anxiety about what I am to do next, about how to connect and be with others. In this dream, I was alone and I was separate from all that is. I was separate from everyone I interacted with, because it was as if I was on an island within myself. This dream lasted for most of my life. And in this dream, I could remember being a child and being afraid to speak up, being afraid to do the things that I wanted to do. And in this dream, as I grew from child to adolescent to adult, the theme continued on of being afraid, being anxious, lacking self-confidence and self-esteem, and feeling separate. Until one day, I woke from the dream and realized I've never been separate. I've never been alone. And the only thing I had to fear was the idea that I was not accepted, the idea that I wasn't good enough, the idea that this physical body and everything that constitutes physical existence is all that there is. In waking up from this dream, I found that I've been connected all along, and that peace is only a breath away. Because taking in a deep breath and really being present with the body, with the mind, with the thoughts, with everything that goes into being alive, I realize that I am safe inside of this skin. I'm talking about the journey of spiritual awakening. It's very easy to talk about spirituality in a vague, esoteric way, and to make it real, to make it tangible, to make it something that actually means something and has an effect, is quite challenging to do. But it is just like being or awakening from a bad dream when you finally start to wake up spiritually. The side effects of waking up spiritually include high self-confidence, a total and pure contentedness with your life, regardless of what challenges, sufferings, and struggles you may be experiencing. It gives life meaning, purpose, and optimal health. For when you start to realize that everything that this life is, everything in the universe is also you, that there's nothing outside of myself that is not me, then you start to find peace, you start to find contentment in everyday life. I remember when I first started to wake up, I had a number of psychedelic experiences that showed me that there's something deeper going on here than just this physical world. There are more layers of who we are than just this physical, mental, or emotional state. I was shown that everything is energy and it's malleable. And there are many things going on in this world that we can't see, feel, or know until we start to open up our senses, until we start to open up to the possibility that there's even something more going on here. And when I started to awaken, a craving, a desire within me began to manifest. And this craving and desire was to know more about the mystery, because this life is a grand and wonderful mystery. And until you start seeking to know more about the mystery, until you have this insatiable desire to know who and what you are, who and what you are in relation to everything else, who and what you are every single day, every single moment of every day. Until this desire awakens within you, it's as if you are groping in the dark. You will remain on an island, separate. And you may remain anxious, scared, with low self-confidence, with low worthiness. And the achievement of a life that brings you true joy, happiness, contentment, and freedom to be yourself will remain far away. Awakening to spiritual existence, connecting with the greater spirit on a daily basis, and seeking to dive more deeply into the mystery. That's what this life is all about. We're here to learn, and we learn through the experience of opposites. We learn through the experience of duality. Everything bad that happens to us happens to give us perspective. When we have something horrible to relate our life to, it gives all of the beautiful and wonderful things that happen in our life something to compare to. And it makes those things more enjoyable, more meaningful, more fulfilling. And until you start to see life in this way, things just happen to you. Bad things happen. Challenges come up. There is suffering. It is through suffering that we learn to love and appreciate our lives. And we can create a lot of suffering in our own lives through our own volition. That's also another way to learn about who you are. And in my experience, the suffering that occurs in our lives is like a dream. It's like a bad dream. And until you wake up and realize that the suffering has a purpose too, it's there to create meaning for the joy, for the ecstasy, for the pleasure of your life. how can we begin to feel content, to feel confident, to feel worthy, to feel happy to be in our own skin? It starts with the desire to know more. It starts with the desire to unravel the mystery of this life. And if you don't have that desire yet, that's okay. I didn't know that I would have that desire until it was there, until something happened to me that opened my eyes and made me realize that there is so much more to this life than we realize. There's so much more that we aren't paying attention to that gives our lives meaning. And once that happened, the desire became insatiable and sent me down a path of discovery, of seeking, of learning what all this is. If you feel that desire, if you feel that insatiable urge to discover the mystery, you're already on the path. All you need to do is follow the breadcrumbs that are laid out before you. And the ability to see those breadcrumbs can be developed by what we might call spiritual practices, including meditation, including conscious breathing, so that we can maintain and change our physiology. Because when we change our physiology, when we change the way that our physical body feels, it becomes much easier to access these deeper states of consciousness and exploration. So if you're already seeking, you're already on the path. Getting involved with these spiritual practices, getting involved with communities who feed that fire, that insatiable desire to imbibe in the mystery, to dive into the mystery. All of those things are going to help open up your awareness even more so that you can see the breadcrumbs that your higher self has left for you to follow. And once you begin to follow the breadcrumbs and notice the signs, that will also feed your desire to dive into the unknown. These are all things that I absolutely love doing in my own life. And I also understand that once you're on the path, it is much easier to walk the path with somebody else who has walked before you, with somebody else who has experienced some of these things and can help you avoid some of the pitfalls, can help you understand what's happening to you, can help you find the practices and habits that help you as a unique individual continue on the path in a healthy and prosperous way. For when we're groping in the dark, sometimes all we need is one candle flame to light the next few steps ahead of us. And that's all we need to take, is the next few steps that are right ahead of us. We don't have to make a quantum leap, although when you begin to awaken, you realize that every little increment that you progress forward is a quantum leap. And once you begin to change, you'll never be the same, and you'll never view life the same ever again. If you're enjoying this talk, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. I am answering a call to share what I know and what I've experienced to help others continue on their path of awakening, continue on the path of their spiritual, personal, relational growth. Because this life is a beautiful gift, and once you realize that you are not separate and you never have been, your life takes on a new meaning and a new joy that never really goes away, even in the face of challenge and adversity. Send my love and gratitude to you, whoever is listening, and I wish you the greatest success on your spiritual journey.